thought my weather genius was going to be undone at that race, and then we just Schumacher blocked you, and I just got third place anyway. That was like stupid. Mika. But like, everything's kind of offensive and racist these days. Like, I make fun of everything. Mike and Ike's. I do not. Sounds like a football show. But like Punch-Out is one of the most blatantly racist video games you'll ever play. Like they had to take the Russian boxer they plan to put in that game out and put Sona Popensky in because it was so blatantly like taking the piss out of Russia and drinking. Just blatantly as hell. How do I practice faster and then on qualifying it's like there's suddenly a 4-tenth difference? Mika Hakkinen. The Flying Finn, yeah. I have no idea what California is supposed to sound like. I think California is a mashup because of the gold rush, bringing like people from all over. As well as Latin influence. The very thing that our Lord and Savior President really, really hates. The problem with the way they want immigration is that you can't get rid of the immigrants unless you fundamentally change our economic system. Our current economic system depends on the immigration. And then the Republicans are like, oh, but exploiting like them for farm labor isn't morally right. It's like, there's a lot about capitalism that isn't morally right. But you're not exactly doing anything to change the system now, are you? It's kind of a key point. The system always wins. That's true. How am I 8th? Yeah. Coulthard seems to race better than he qualifies. It's weird. I just find it kind of interesting that they use moral harm to justify a different kind of moral harm onto the immigrants. Like moral wrong to justify another moral wrong. We don't. What our system is, I don't think is actually democracy. Some of the more left-leaning states at like the state and local level might be a little more democratic, but federally what we have is not a democracy. And that's not something that like suddenly changed with Trump either. I'm going to assume... I'm making assumptions about what you want. Feel free to correct me if you need to. If you take ultras, you're two-stopping. Or unless you want to start with them and run supers on the second leg. You can't ultra to ultra one stop. Even with heat, the tires tend to last on the lower end. Ooh, tons of AI are going for the ultras. Their actual range is probably 17 to 19 laps. Like you could probably get 19 if you baby them. Oh, there goes Irvine. But yeah, right now they're apparently trying to force dual citizens to renounce their second citizenship to be an American citizen, and they're also trying to pass ID verification for adult content nationwide. But ooh, there goes Deniz. But in some of the more southern states, it's actually taking the most perverted form where you need ID to like download a weather app as of January 1st, which is just stupid. I don't think adult content ID is going to pass nationwide because the Republicans don't have enough control of the Senate to make it happen. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. Like, making you show an ID to download weather content is kind of dumb. They're basically gating the entire app store, like behind ID verification. What the fuck? Burger's leading. Weather lady. There actually is like adult content around that. Most of the stuff I've found tends to be like British themed, like on that. Like your weather app doesn't even have like the one I use. So get rid of that. Like it's just a background with like the current weather. Like it doesn't even have pictures of anything like scantily clad women, nothing. It's just the goddamn weather. It's apparently foggy in Shakopee right now. But yeah, like some of these states pass these ID laws, and then like they found out that people use VPNs to get around them, and now they're trying to pass laws to ban the usage of VPNs, which people don't just use VPNs to get around adult content restrictions. Like it's actually used for a lot of things, including how most companies actually run work from home. They have to use a VPN so that their company's sensitive info isn't compromised by like being exposed to the internet. So I think Alacy has a light foot perk. Well, that's the real reason, and that's what the pushback needs to be. Because in America, we actually do have expectation of privacy, and I would argue that using the internet in your house is one of those things that qualifies as having an expectation of privacy around it. Oh yeah, the Patriot Act has its own problem. I think making people viable for data breaches when they force them to give up their data is going to be a bridge too far. But you make people responsible for a breach of privacy when you don't give them the privacy to avoid it. It's kind of a problematic position. But, The most problematic thing about the Trump administration is that its justice system is not equal. Like they do not treat people equal under the law, and that's problematic. If you're in the administration and you commit a crime, they just ignore it. Yeah, they're not even hiding how corrupt they are. By the way, this is the kind of stuff that ended empires. Empires collapse because people realize that they're not being treated equally. They make what they're doing so goddamn blatantly obvious. How is Berger fucking leading this race? Excuse me. The thing I think tickles me is that he thinks that his party's going to back him for a third term, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think as soon as the Democrats get back in power, the Republicans turn their back on Trump. Because once they lose Congress, it becomes safe to treat him like a lame duck president. And there's like a lot of despair on Reddit about how there isn't even going to be midterm elections, but they're trying like hell to gerrymander it, but based on the way last year went with the elections, like it's looking like the perfect setup for like a complete bloodbath of the Trump administration in the midterms. Now I'd say that would be justifiable because they have pushed their agenda like way harder than any previous administration has ever pushed theirs. The map's not in the Democrats' favor for the Senate, but I think like that Trump's approval is so low that they might get the Senate anyway. I think people are like really, really underestimating like how negative the sentiment towards him is. Well, they need 67 senators to impeach him. You only actually need control of the House to impeach the president. You need 67 senators to actually convict an impeached president. 2/3. And like, I'm not predicting like a filibuster-proof Senate majority for the Democrats. I'm like what I think will actually end up happening is that they'll kind of like edge it out. Like one or two seat majority. I mean, Trump did just announce a trade deal with China that basically takes our trade policy with China back to where it was before his inauguration, which sets the bar to Biden for like progress from like where he took us back to like Biden. It's fucking wild, man. And that's just trade policy with China. He's underwater on basically every issue. It's like it's never been like this historically bad for any president. And usually they're popular, like in the beginning, too. Well, hello there, Jock. Nixon, I think, actually was pretty popular up until his impeachment. Bush was, but not as unpopular as this. And the 2008 collapse didn't help his case very much. Didn't help his case, his cause, any of that. I think he's at like 20 or 30%, and I don't think any president has ever had that low of approval. I'm curious. November 28th, they say it's at 36%. He's underwater on that issue. It's the issue that he's strongest on. Where public sentiment is, I think he's only slightly underwater on it. It's because a lot of Americans actually are quite racist. I can probably look that up too. It's mixed to negative. And his approval for border security is a little bit higher. So I think he's above water, or maybe even to slightly under on border security. But for immigration policy, he's underwater. It's because border security and immigration policy are two very different things. Well, they're kind of the same thing, but people see them differently. But 36%, like, that's a lot of midterm losses. Usually if the president's under 50%, it's really bad for his party going into the midterms. I actually think they're going to lose more seats because of their gerrymandering. Because you have to take votes from safe districts to try to like flip closer ones. And I think sentiment is so against them that diluting their voting power is actually going to sink them. There goes Irvine. And all the Senate seats were up. A lot of them are in Republican strongholds, but I think that they're not going to be as strong as people think they are. Like voting sentiment is like 15 to 20 points in favor of the Democrats. Like that's enough to swing enough Senate seats. I also think the biggest issue is that Trump convinced his base they wouldn't have to vote again after 2024. And I think a lot of them won't. Because they bought that lie. No presidential candidate in the history of anything should ever tell their base that they don't need to vote again after that specific election. He's got to be putting super softs on now, right? Yeah. That's what I thought. Keep Schumacher behind, and then we'll, based on whether we succeed or fail at that, we'll go from there. Whee! It's going on to ultras. I don't think that's going to matter much. Oh damn! This could be for the race win. shit. That actually did hurt quite a bit. I'm sad now. I need more speed! More speed! I dumped a lot into trying to keep Schumacher behind. This calls out mechanical issue. I'll still trail by 7 points. Ouch. You do have danger breathing down your neck. Burned out midnight fuel. Burn that midnight jet fuel. Oh shit. I got distracted. On the upside, I think it's easily corrected. Actually, Hill and Villeneuve are going to be tied. Because I don't see Berger holding. Yeah, he's not holding fifth. Villeneuve might not even hold fourth. Well, Jack's got enough tire. Ferrari is actually starting to become a danger to us again. Oh shit. Okay. Okay, what do we got? Gearbox, wing. Where we can get more brakes. Then gearbox. Alright, and then we'll do brakes, because we'll have a chance for brakes. Okay. I'll do it for now. We're at mid-season. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy it. If you haven't already done so, feel free to follow button one time. Some like, share on the YouTube end of things. And we'll see you guys again next time. Until then, take care. Have a great one. Later on, guys.